and that means no sci-fi bull. Isn't that right, Rick?
Uh-huh.
How the did they get Rick to come along on this trip? I feel like if 4 seasons of Rick and Morty taught me anything, it's that Rick will be willing to turn himself into a pickle if necessary to get out of stuff like this.
Why are you building a Faraday box to block out the signal?
Thank you, Morty, for telling us all what a Faraday box is. I mean, I know what it is, but you know, not everyone did. But also, Morty has seen Rick build all sorts of crazy things. How did he instantly know that Rick was building a Faraday box and not, let's say, a deadly jack-in-the-box, or a box to hold a bomb, or Glorzo knows what else? Why go through all the trouble of building a Faraday box if throwing the phone out the window is an option? And no, I'm not saying Faraday box over and over so I remember it. I super already knew that it was called a Faraday box. You know what's really bugging me about this scene? The steering wheel seems to be very low. While, yes, this gives us a great view of the car, it would be chafing Jerry's legs the entire drive. I love this contraption Rick has stalled into the station wagon, but is he attached to the door? The back seat doesn't come with him, so what's holding Rick up during this transition?
I hope you realize the tubing permit was non-refundable.
Relax, Jerry. We'll be in and out in a minute.
All this talk of lube and being in and out in a minute reminds me of a... what? Oh, tubing. Right. Oh man, they got to Rick's baby mama fast. I was hoping they were going to do a twisted take on the movie Lock.
Sex with a living planet? Big step for mankind.
Stop encouraging people to stick their divining rods into earth holes. Doesn't anyone remember the 1999 penis burn epidemic after American Pie? And there are critters in those planet holes. Come on.
Gaia, baby, Big Daddy Rick is here. What's the problem?
The problem here is a perfectly missed opportunity to show the animator's ability to draw anything other than a dick and balls. We've seen after hairy ball, and when it comes time to show the beauty that is the vulva, we get a f***ing multi-tiered crater with a sphincter in the middle.
Are you kidding me? Look at them. They look just like you.
They really, really don't. I mean, just because they have pointy hair doesn't make them look like Rick. The father could be Lisa Simpson for all they know.
Gaia, baby, gonna need a little raw iron and steam.
Whatever you need, baby.
And then Rick summons a thing from the station wagon, and that's all it takes, apparently, for Rick to build an entire factory out of this planet's womb.
Dad, can we please go back and hang out with Grandpa's clay people?
Why go back there when you have the most interesting mystery developing right in front of you? Jerry creates this murder stick for no reason. Oh, you think it's for roasting marshmallows, but nope, he whips a metal stabby tool out for that shit. Why is this stick being whittled?
Because if you move the bar so low, you might actually seem like you're worth a
Jeez, they turned Jerry into this show's Meg Griffin, didn't they? They can heap all sorts of abuse on him without him fighting back. And is it funny? You just end up feeling sorry for the guy, as dumb and listless as he is. I mean, this kind of lashing out would be reserved for a Jerry who actually did Summer's friend from the Primordius episode.
We got you, guy. Shoot him hard enough the middle.
Shouting unhelpful directions at the woman giving birth with directions that are, in fact, simply stating what she was already doing. Penis fruit. Also, if Rick and Beth were going through all the trouble of helping these clay Ricks achieve fulfillment, why confuse them from the start with what the number 2 really is? Is it a watermelon? A pear? Why can't it just be a number? Also, we have a pie chart with an actual pie on it, and we have another screen that shows how you definitely don't play tic-tac-toe. Sure, just give the O's the game X's. It's not like anybody bet all their life savings on yet another draw. Why is the sign for interns plural when everything else is singular? This might be the worst sin Rick and Morty has ever committed.
I could add an online college workaround.
Or just push them out through a pipe in the back.
Same
thing.
thing.
I knew it wouldn't be long before I had to remove a sin.
Guess you don't want to learn how to skip rocks either.
The first step in skipping a rock is to choose a rock that will skip and not immediately sink to the bottom of the water. The second step is to choose a body of water that is still and lacks a current. And yeah, maybe this is the joke. But if Jerry skips stones by selecting tiny boulders to chuck at rivers, he wouldn't be interested in teaching his kids because he would constantly fail at this task. Also, Jerry survives this. This series of blocks contains 0 cuberts. Okay, where did Jerry get a s'more? He cooked one earlier and gave it to Summer, who threw the one s'more into the fires of Mount Dysfunction a couple minutes ago. Does Jerry just have spare s'mores in his bag? I grant that this is something that Jerry would do, but I'm sinning it anyway. Also, now that we've sinned that Jerry even should have one in the first place, let's discuss the fact that Jerry is the sort of person who keeps an unprotected s'more in his bag. He is also the sort of person who can pack the fragile s'more in such a way that it doesn't crumble even though he's survived a river, factory, and fall. So really, I don't know if I should respect him, fear him, or hate him.
What is that?
This is camping.
That is a f***ing s'more. Well, I guess that seals it. I hate Jerry.
There you go, guys. Pump those cheeks.
Encouraging incest. Also, I guess it's a standards and practices thing, but if these two really are pumping cheeks, then the lack of motion means they're doing it wrong.
If I died, don't eat my ass. That'd be weird.
So your boobs and vagina are okay then? By the way, it would be awesome if Summer was ribbing Morty here for actually eating human flesh in the last episode. If Summer is going to be the teenage girl version of Rick, this would have been a perfect opportunity for that callback. But it doesn't even seem this episode knows what happened in the last episode.
Damn, listen to those pipes. You sure these kids are yours?
What, you've never heard me sing karaoke?
Well, everyone on Earth at this point should be familiar with the events of Get Schwifty, in which you had to show an alien what you got, and what you got ain't that. You guys self-reference a lot when it comes to your writing anxieties, but characters not remembering things like that is crazy to me.
Shaboom boom! Sorry. Just trying to get the hang of this thing.
Who is he apologizing to? His family that would be dead right now had the staff worked as he thought it did? Oh, sorry I didn't kill you in a glorious fashion just then. Oopsie. Fucking Jerry.
You for real just try to smite me? Siri, triangulate source of power?
Did you for real just use Siri to triangulate this god's source of power? Jeez, our communications companies are gonna know everything.
Now you see my true form. The clouds were simply a shape more appealing to Gaia's mind.
Wait, so why do all of your kids look like the illusion of you?
You look like Kid Rock Zeus.
Does anyone know who Kid Rock is anymore? Mixing Zeus with Sofia Haji-Pontelli would make more sense and probably be a more interesting Google search, honestly. Also, looks like somebody got some Deadpool in my Rick and Morty.
All right, motherfucker. Let's go.
This goes on for some time. Also, the power of a god versus a guy who has gadgets and knowledge of a god, and we're about to see a fist fight. Way to DC Comics show. This ship has power. Also, not only does it have power, they're able to get the ship off the ground from this position and with a bunch of roots and vines running through it.
Jesus Christ, was that the wings?
I think it's the thrusters, but no matter whether it's wings or thrusters, this ship somehow gets into space.
You like these plagues I'm unleashing on your asses?
We never once get to see one of Jerry's plagues. Even if they're as lame as Bess says they are, I want to see the full brunt of Jerry's plagues. Machina ex Deus? Show thinks that Jerry can use his marshmallow roaster thing to pull Beth out of the chasm, and if 4 seasons of this show has taught me anything about Jerry, show is contradicting itself about Jerry. This is another one of those weird animation things. The lava was so close to them here that I don't know how they didn't get melted by the lava before they climb aboard the ship. It's one of those things where they're saved because the show says they are, and I refuse to accept that.
See? You put the fire stick to the wood, and voila, campfire.
You have known about this the whole time?
One of Not Rick's kids would be amazing at TVSins.
Is that all you want to say to your children before you leave?
Oh yeah, about that title, Childrick of Mort. It's a Children of Men parody title, I get that, and I get the Childrick part. I just don't get the Mort part, unless it's some clever nod to all the death in the episode, but you know how much I hate acknowledging the French. Remember when there were episode titles that didn't need to fit the Rick or Morty in, like Lawnmower Dog? They didn't call that Lawn Morty Dog. Well, I love this bit at the end where Rick is scrolling through a planet dating site. I'm wondering what planet would call themselves 2R-F181 like they're content with the random name some Earth scientist gave them.
Oops, there's a hole in my ozone. I didn't put it there, did you? I can't fill it by myself. I'm not smart enough.
Erogenous ozone.
I've created Lutherans.
Well, I killed all the old merch in a ritualistic bonfire, and from the ashes rose a new merch enterprise. Grab a cloaca, cast a stone, or do the cliche fan thing and sip yummy out of a sexy mug. Enter code DING for a discount because you are amazing fans and we appreciate you. Now, off and go get your sweet new swag. Link below or find our store at cinemasins.com.
You want me to read? I'm reading text. What's the difference? First, you take the gram. You stick the chocolate on the gram. Then, you roast the mallow. When the mallow's flaming, you stick it on the chocolate. Then, you cover it with the other end. Then, you scarf.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
It's a house! No houses!
A plague on both your houses!
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Elsa, your other hand, honey, I can't hold you!